Man, you can smell them. That was quite the morning. I got up 4:30 this morning. Got up 4:30, fed all the animals, and then hit it. I think about 45 kilometers up a mainline logging road. Lots of people from the island possibly recognize where I am. I got to listen to some equipment working down the bottom of the valley. Can't get around it. Elk sign everywhere. But I set out to try to find a big bull and see if I could get up on one and film one. I did it. Very, very, very lucky. Like a full-on blind squirrel found the nut today. I'd never ran around here before, but across the valley and farther up that way, I went up a road and then started getting some rubs. I got up here early in the dark and bugled in the dark, but I didn't hear anything. But I did hear a weird ass noise once in the dark. Whatever it was, I don't know. Wasn't, well, I don't know. It was, sounded like a kind of a cow elk, but long drawn out. It wasn't a bull. Anyway, then carried on up the valley. Looked around some more, because with this hot weather, you only have an hour once it gets seeing light. And then I went into the timber, thick, first, might be second growth in there, but older trees. Found some good trails, left a trail camera, and then I went up around the other side of the valley, and then I just caught a hind quarter ripping off into the bush. I mean, just caught the color of elk going in some thick stuff. So I snuck down there, and sure enough, there's a whole herd of them right in that timber down below me, and I managed to videotape the big bull elk. Bingo! And then I went farther up the valley, about a mile. I went to the bottom, and I started hiking in from the bottom, see if maybe I could get in on that herd in the bottom. And then it didn't happen. I could smell him or smell something a couple times, and then I unfortunately heard a weird hoot. I haven't heard it on the videotape yet, but I will. And for all of you who do enjoy those kind of videos, which I do not, I don't make, and I rarely videotape or share. As soon as I heard that sound, I'm like, uh-oh, hair on my ears went up too, and then, okay, I'm out of here. So I left the camera on, which is, as far as I'm concerned, is probably a form of protection, because I'm just not into it. especially when I'm that far away from the truck and that big timber. And didn't bring my gun. I'm on Vancouver Island, you guys. There's no grizzly bears I'm going to run into, and I'm not big on shooting something that I don't know what it is, but I wanted to travel light in case I get up in that herd of elk. And then I heard that hoot, and then I hiked out and I left the camera going the whole way out. So maybe I'll put that in a separate video and load it up after this for any of you who are into that. And I'm sure somebody's going to spot something somewhere in it. Do I care? Not really. Myself. So while I'm here, before I rip home, I'm going to get some voices shared from up here. It's about the best view I could get. And before this sun comes up and starts scorching my ass. Now, what do we got? Fairly recent. Fairly long. I can feel some wind on me. Hopefully it isn't killing the microphone. This is titled Phoebe's Story, October 7th, 2022. Good morning, Steve. Yes, can you read this in its entirety? I have nothing to fear. I found it funny that Phoebe had a story about her encounter right about the same time I had mine. For reference, I am Josh Hoop. Hupe? Hoop? H-U-P-E? Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, sir. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces, and I've been all around the world in one capacity or another. I'm an avid outdoorsman. I fly, fish, and hunt elk during archery. I'm 53 years old, born in March of '69. Grew up in the Pacific Northwest and Alaska, and I lived in Sitka and Soldotna. That's Alaska. Stayed at Dick Proanoke's cabin. No way. Have pictures of Mount St. Helens erupting on May 18th. My father was a Hood River County deputy. At the time, we lived in the Cascade Locks on the Columbia River. The Bridge of the Gods toll booth was my father's dispatch center. My friends and I have lived in the Cascade Range, hiking, riding dirt bikes, and the usual sort. Now for the first encounter. Got my attention, man. Oh, I can see my reflection in this camera perfectly. Phone. We'll see how I make out. It was 1978, east of Cascade Locks, a small stop called Wyeth, Oregon. There's a big rock slide just south of my friend's house that we would climb up and drink out of a mountain spring. Us boys loved hiking up there. Charlie, his little brother Steve, Shane, and his little brother Chad, and myself. Now we're all sitting in the edge of the slide, and two of the boys had gone up to the spring just inside the tree line. Something spooked the two out of the spring. So we all went in to see what was going on. I remember the bright red eyes looking at us. They seemed about a foot apart, and you knew the eyes did not want us there. I'm 8 at the time, and you never saw so many young boys move over a slide area that fast and down towards the house in safety. Large rocks kept getting thrown at us as we ran. Not small rocks, big rocks. Very big rocks. 200-pound rocks big. Holy shit. We hit the tree line and jumped down the edge of the dugout little quarry on the edge of the county road. The trees behind us and up on the hill were getting pushed out of the way by something big. Not rocks, but some very large creature. We all started laughing and carrying on as boys who are terrified do. It was our way of coping. Now Charlie was much older than us. Steve, Shane, and Chad and I are all the same age. Shane and Chad are native. Steve, Charlie, and myself are white. I did not see the whole creature, but I know it was there. I've had lots of scary moments in the woods, and I know it is a bear, a wolf, a mountain lion, a bobcat, and the like. I know elk growl if you get too close while they're bedded down. First-hand knowledge. So, what Phoebe describes is very active along the Cascade Range. I have that experience on many occasions. I just wanted to share this with you. I commented a long time ago about the encounters, but this is my first email to you. I reside in Colorado now in the San Luis Valley and regularly hunt and fish here. Missed this archery season due to a bad neck injury. Oh, that sucks. I have lots of stories to share with you about this area and the Cascade Range. I very much enjoy your channel and your thought process regarding morons. I too share your passion for the woods and for stupid people. Be safe and understand that being on a government watch list is normal. I've been on the same watch list since my time in the military. Not that they will ever act on it. It is just their way of keeping tabs on people that worry them, or that they're literally scared of. The world is pulling us up apart, and nothing can be done to stop it. No sense in even trying. It's our nature It is in our nature as a species. We'll write more later on. Thank you for your channel. Godspeed and God bless. Josh J. Hoop. Hoop? Or Hoope? Again, I apologize if I butchered your name, my man. I appreciate you. And I'm really interested to hear more from you, for certain. So if you could, please email us back with more. Yep, the good old government. I don't know why. I was daydreaming this morning about what I would do if I was within arm reach of Canada's so-called leader right now, a corrupt criminal. And I don't think I'd be able to stop myself from trying to get a hold of him and doing as much damage as I could. I'm just being straight up honest. That son of a bitch. Anyway, another topic. Oh, sweet. Here's the email from the Black Elk I posted up. Black Elk I recorded on video last week. Dear Steve, hope this finds you well. I shared one story from Nova Scotia titled Trapper's Cabin Encounter about a year ago, but I'm not sure if you received it. I just didn't want to resend it in case you did read it. Either way, here's something I haven't seen before in my neck of the woods. East Slope, Southern Alberta Zone, ES1. The video attaches a jet black bull elk. How common is this color variation? I know you'd be the man to ask. Thank you for such a beautiful job in all your videos, brother. You're a great man. Stay safe out there. Again, thanks for everything you do. Jalna Fortune. P.S. I'll resend that story, but first finish it better with a recap of what happened years later when I revisited the land as an adult. Without question, I know they exist. Cheers for now, Steve. Okay, man. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I posted up that video. I saved it somehow. It was on my phone or whatever, and I couldn't find your frickin' name. Glad I found that email. And hopefully I'll put that video here right now. No, I've never seen a black elk in my life. I believe you it was black, because I guess if somebody just showed me and I didn't have any email with it, it could possibly be a mud-covered elk that was wallowing, and it was last light out of sunlight, low exposure, so that could possibly make it look black, but that looked like a black furred elk to me. Pretty cool. Pretty cool capture. Very, very rare. I've never seen a black elk in my life. Never. So that was pretty cool, man. Thank you for sending that. And please send your email again, or I'll see if I can dig one up from you. But yeah, send me more. All right. There's another one. Not 1,000 yards away. We'll look around. Notice I'm in the middle of a logged out area. I got my chicken shit ass out of that big timber. Hello, Steve. First, it might be a good idea to post everything on rumble.com. Live stream, Getter, True Social. I tried to get True Social, but it's not available in Canada. Just some thoughts, sir. YouTube will shut you down sooner or later. Sir, any person getting the truth out there to the nation is a big problem for them, and they will stop you. So, just some forward thinking, sir, to protect what you're doing. Appreciate the words, man. Anyways, I'd like to tell you about something that happened to me back in 2014. Just before this happened, I never really thought that much about UFOs and aliens. It was a hot August weekend. I woke up around 2 a.m. I was wide awake and decided to go out on my porch and have a smoke. I have an 8-foot by 40-foot porch, and in the front there are 3 steps that go down to the sidewalk. So, I was sitting on the second step down, and my feet were resting on the sidewalk. It was beautiful out, clear skies, and the stars were out and bright, very bright. I was just looking up to the north and seeing a shooting star way off and thought, that's cool. Now, I live in the country, well, not like you, but remote compared to Detroit. All at once, Steve, I was blown away with fear. I was so terrified I could not turn my head to the right at all. The only thing I could do was turn my eyes to the right. Not more than 6 to 8 feet away, there was a big light, and it was bright. No sound, no sound at all. Nothing. The front of the ship was lit up, and it had about a 2-foot wide band that reached to the top of the ship and back down to the bottom. That light traveled from one side to the other. So I can say the front was oblong shape. I say the front of the ship, but in truth I have no idea how big it was at all between being scared shitless, praying to God I only focused on the lighted area. It was about 30 feet across, and that area of light, it was about 30 feet across, that area of light, and about 15 feet tall. And the reason I can give size on the light is it was right there, not more than 6 feet away from me. Oh my God. Steve, I swear, I've never been that afraid in my life. I sat there for maybe 3 minutes and just kept asking myself, well, what do I do? Over and over. Finally, I got up, turned to my left, away from the object, and stepped up on my porch and walked in the house, shutting the door behind me. I went into my bedroom, and the time it took me to get there was no more than a minute from the time I shut the front door after coming in. The ship was in front of my room. I live in Cape Cod and sleep on my first floor, and the ship was in front of my porch. And it was gone that quick, less than a minute. Once again, I'm not sure on the full size of the crap, but that changed my life. I have an open mind, and I know the power centers keep a lot from us. When a ship shows up that close, you see things differently forever. It took me 3 months to tell my family what happened to me, and I think they still don't believe me. But after that happened to me, I really don't care about who believes or not. I want more information. Bravo. We can relate to each other. I also ask myself every day what would have happened if I didn't chicken out that night. And at this point, I wanted to meet them. Well, whoever it was, thanks for doing what you do. I'm not very good at this type of stuff, but I hope you can understand my chicken scratch. Have a good one, sir. Okay, man, you wrote it very well. It's clear and easy to read for me, man. Good. All good. That's it's quite the shitty thing to see. I'm not craving something like that myself, and I do not have any answers. I know a lot of people do, though. And they're probably listening. Alright. What's this one titled? This is titled, okay, here it is. Alright. Reminds me how I started off my first one, probably. Hey Steve, love what you're doing, never stop. Check your airdrop for the UFO pic and vids. Airdrop. I posted a comment and was surprised to get comments back because no pics. Hope this works. I've been at AT&T for 2 hours getting a new email so I could communicate with you and the rest of the world. Here's another one for y'all. When I was 12, living in central Minnesota, on a beautiful fall evening, I was headed home from fishing on a nearby creek when I saw what I thought was the Goodyear blimp floating over our house, just floating. I started to run to the house hoping to catch a ride. Then I noticed that's not the blimp. I jumped into some brush to hide. This lasted for at least 10 minutes. It was humming in an up and down musical scale. Then it moved north about half a mile and landed. I could hear trees snapping. I ran into the house. My entire family was frozen in place. I was so confused, to say the least. Mom was over the stove cooking, but frozen. My dad and 2 brothers as well, no sign of my sister. I ran to the gun cabinet, grabbed my single-shot .22 with a box of ammo, then back to the kitchen, yelling, "Get your guns, they've landed." My dad was the first to recover, telling me, "What's wrong with you? It's time to eat." I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I sat in front yard, my gun, and up all night looking through my north-facing window. And on the third late evening, about 10 p.m., I could hear it start that musically scaled hum. It rose slowly to the edge of the space and then shot into space. 30 years later, now in Texas, this story came up. My sister said she was playing on the beach and the craft descended from a dark cloud, hovered above the lake, opening its underside and dropped what looked to be sheep or cattle into the lake. After this, I started noticing strange wood, Sabe art when hunting. Strange thing is, no traffic from those that lived in that area for those 3 days and nights. Of course, no one believed me. Teased me a lot, but wouldn't dare go see for at least a month. When we did go, there was a large spot where the trees were pushed from the central point, and to this day, nothing grows here. There. I can even show you where that is on Google Earth. No shit. Well, I don't have any... Oh, I don't have any pictures. I don't have any pictures in this video. I just got the plain video here. Or email. Sorry, you guys. And that sounds scary as shit. Google, you mean you could show me the trees broken on Google Earth? If that's the case, send her over. I'll share it with the people. And like most of you know now, I'm not a big UFO topic fan, okay? But I have to accept the fact that everything is connected at some point or another. And if any of you have something to say that you can relate to with that email, then use the comment section below this video, okay? And whoever is into it can, you guys can communicate in the comment section below, okay? Somebody's going to have seen something similar, without a doubt. The frozen family members in the house, it sounds eerie as shit. Sounds like a movie. And I've never heard anything like that in my life, so. Creepy, crazy. Alright, here's a fairly lengthy one, but here we go. This is titled, Puzzle Piece and More Clues Possibly. Sean C. You can use my name. It's funny, and I do not blame anyone for not sharing their name with me, ever, okay? Never. But it's funny how many people say, you can use my name, and they'll just say their first name and last initial, right? It's all good, man. Let her rip. Hello, Steve. Love you for your efforts and counter. Okay. So I attempted to write this to you 3 times, and each time had to scrap and start over. Seems today's the day. This is 1982, and my family had moved to Redding, California, from the desert between Indio on Blythe in Southern California. We had been in Redding for about 3 months, and moved from an open desert where my brother, 12, and me, 14, could roam as long as we got home before the streetlights came on. When we moved to Redding, we were cooped up in a small apartment for the first few months due to rain and not knowing anyone there. My mom asked my brother if I wanted to go for a ride. Being housebound, we said heck yes. We set off for Mount Shasta, just north of Redding. We took a side road that took us up into Logan Road, south of Shasta, near Jones Valley. We'd driven probably an hour from Redding, and the Logan Road we drove on took us way up to where we could see the valley below. We came to a stretch where the road twists back around in a cashew type of curve, with inner part of the road having a small clearing. My mom told my brother and she had to use the restroom. I got this weird reflection on here, sorry you guys. And to give her some privacy. So, my brother and I took off up the hill on a sprint. We went about 75 yards up the mountain at about an 85% grade, like one would experience at the cheap seats, the baseball stadium. Being in basketball and baseball, I was pretty fast, as was my brother, as we sprinted up the mountain during the fall time, kind of cold and fall-like. We came to a stop at a flat area that was about 15 foot around, with the mountain being more of the 85% grade the rest of the way up. We had large trees around us, as you would expect in the forest. Now, the weird part was that I don't recall stopping. I just remember being faced toward my brother and both looking into each other's eyes as if both kind of stunned but calm. I could see my mom's car over my brother's shoulder, which was the size of an orange if you held it out in your hand. My brother and I, kind of puzzled, noticed no sound, no wind, nothing, like we were in a bubble. Next thing I hear a knock, knock, like a person hitting a tree with a 2x4. I was instantly in a playful mood and looked for a large stick to make the knocking sound back. I found a large branch and went to a tree and returned at the knock, knock. Having been in the woods and wandered in the desert, we thought someone was just messing with us. The hill upward from the flat area we stood on went straight up, like I said earlier, 85% or so. As soon as it made the knock on the tree, we heard kind of a rustling sound above us on the hill, but could not see anything at all. Then a large rock that was about 3 to 6 inches thick and as 3 to 4 feet wide. Then a large rock that was about 3 to 6 inches thick and as 3 to 4 feet wide as my shoulders and hands outreached, came rolling down the hill. It looked like a rock one would use to make steps in a path in one's yard, likely about 75 to 150 pounds. Steve, that slab rolled right up to us about 5 feet away, just as a pro golfer would lay up on an approach shot. My brother and I just looked at the rock, then at each other like, what the F? Then there was a low scream, like a bobcat, that gradually escalated to this horrible dual-pitch sound that resonated through our whole body. I've only heard something like it on your show with the sound from the Sabe. My mom yelled, "Boys!" We ran down the hill as fast as we possibly could, got in the car, and sped down the hill. We asked my mom, "What was that, Mom?" Being a big National Enquirer junkie, she said, "Bigfoot." We never spoke of it again. Now, perhaps the reason it taken me longer to send this, I have had some experiences I cannot explain afterward, where a voice and or gut feeling has saved my life many times. Head-on collisions averted, red light runners where a voice said, "Don't go." I didn't, and a car sped through the light doing 60. Driving the same road for 15 years, a voice tells me to get over and slow down. I do so, and the car on the same path that I would have been in, the left lane, was hit head-on by a car that jumped the center divider doing 50 miles per hour. Airbags and total mess of 5 to 6 cars, glass and debris across my hood. Not a scratch. Went home, told my wife and daughters the story, but they whatever, Dad. I broke down in tears just knowing I almost died. Ugh. Another driving between Redding and Sacramento, cruising 80 miles per hour in a red 5.0 Mustang. Voice says, "Get over and slow down." I do so, and just at that moment, a metal-laden 5x5-foot lid off a crate in a flatbed truck ahead of me jumps into the air and bounces twice, then over the top of my car. Another on my way to work in an area that had old oak trees. Voice says, "Watch for the branch," over and over, several days, several times. Fast forward to one day, and I'm traveling the same path. Traffic backed up, and I came to a large oak branch, out to be 17 feet long and 5 to 8 inch thick, started across the lanes to where cars had to go into the bike lane to pass. I have more of these, but you have more stories to share. I put these warnings to God and the angel around us. However, your story is about the Sabe watching over people, that perhaps they can see the future and know that some of us are good for society and the others aren't? Not sure. But we're dealing with some amazing things as the veil is being lifted. I think I'll stick with Jesus and the angels watching over me. Steve, I too have had the "hey, wait a minute" view of life since I was 14. Frustrate the hell out of me, but it is what it is. Some people just can't see it or feel it, but we can. The cell phone stories are seeming like a responder getting close to center of the broadcast, in which many sectors are alerted to the phone returning to service area, it seems. Wormholes, think tornadoes, water spouts, physical things we can see that move matter from one point to another in the blink of an eye. Portals, the same. We have to keep listening to your show to find out. You're a good man, Steve. Thank you again for what you do. This is my story, and thank you for the opportunity to share. Sean C. Sean, I appreciate you writing in. I'm glad you're still with us. I don't know. I haven't a clue what's going on. I know a lot of us are protected in some way or another, and some of us aren't. Right? I should have bit it so many times in this lifetime now. It's stupid. I've just accepted the fact that there's just no way somebody isn't protecting me. I know that. I've known that for a while. I accept it. I hope I find out eventually the truth about everything. Hope so. I hope I find out who's been saving my ass. Because I got a handful. I've shared a bunch of stories too online, but I got a bunch of stories myself where it just does not make sense that I'm still alive. It just doesn't make sense. Have I ever heard a voice? Never. Not me. Never. But I feel pressure. I can feel pressure at times. I could feel energy or pressure on which side of me, and it's usually around my back of my ear, back of my skull, the side. Where else do I feel it? I mostly feel pressure or sense energy with my head, on either sides of my head. Yeah. It's interesting, man. So much shit we don't know. Doesn't it piss you off? The dumbass shit that they teach the children in school compared to what we could be learning. It really makes me a little frustrated. A little frustrated. You filthy bastards, right? You dirty bastards. Alright, what do we got? Okay. Type like this is red. What time is it? It's 10:30 in the morning. Hey Steve, you can use my name. It's Rusty Pratchell. Pratchell or Pratchell? P-R-A-C-H-E-L. Not French. Prackle. Okay, man, Prackle. I'm a hunter. That's how I came across your channel at howthunt.com. The viewpoint of a guide, the man who is responsible for an individual while implementing a hunt of a lifetime, regardless of experience, fortitude, or common sense. Not referring to the guide. I live in central Wisconsin. In 1991, my dad invited me on an elk hunt to Colorado, a place called Wagon Wheel Gap near Creed. No way I'm passing on this opportunity. Hunting seemed to be the only common ground I had left with my old man lately. You know, a dad and his smart-ass kid. He was a great dad, and I was lucky enough to be his smart-ass kid. There were 4 of us, my dad and I, my dad's friend Frank, and Frank's father-in-law Howie. We made a plan, jumped in the Jeep, and drove up a hill called Pool Table. This place was a giant prairie at damn near 10,000 feet of elevation. I never expected it. Judging by the ride up, it was heaven on earth. Cold, a fresh foot of snow, then the sun was coming up. You could barely feel it on your face. If I remember right, it was 15 degrees. Howie kicked me out of the Jeep at my predetermined destination. Even slow down. Tuck and roll, get out. Big tires on a pretty good grade, fresh snow, I forgive them. Away I went, looking for the place I would be if I was an elk. I found it. I stripped my snowshoes and settled in. After less than 5 minutes of finding the most beautiful place on earth, I began to feel nervous. Here we go. No cause. I hadn't heard a sound. At that altitude and temperature, I should have heard a marten fart at 20 yards. That turned into uncomfortable, being watched. I left, as quietly and as quickly as I could, with my .300 Winchester leveled on my exit. I just figured a cat was near me. I've come across mountain lions since that day. I didn't sense danger, though. As far as folks lucky or unlucky enough to be allowed into the forest people's world, it seems to me that if you had some shitty tough times as you were growing up, the more likely they'll reach out to you. I don't know. Maybe the common ground is mistrust of humanity. What the hell do I know? Take care, you Canadian rebel. P.S. My dad went on a BC hunt in 1970. Still have his tags. A moose was $6, a grizzly was $3, and a black bear was $1.50. No shit. I apologize if the story was a nothing burger. I believe if it had been a cat, I wouldn't even have known it was there. Take care. Best your family and those damn chickens. Thanks, man. I enjoyed that and appreciated it. Glad you wrote in. And somebody is going to be... There's too many people here. Somebody's going to be familiar with where you were. And they might have something to share to add to what you just cracked open. So we'll see, possibly in the comment section below, where they're going to email it in, right? It's usually how it goes. These are all recent emails, okay, guys? All right, here we go. What's this one? This one's marked as red. Orbs, more worrisome than Sabe. All right, here we go. Every military installation and base has over-the-horizon radar. I think this is a possible reason for sightings. Further, triangulation is the basis for navigation and surveillance. Add to this, Einstein stated flatly that what scientists call black holes are in reality rings, not tunnels. Quartz and water are possible points for triangulation. So, if someone, like from a research facility like CERN, S-E-R-N, were to build a drone, cloak it in a light frequency, the result would be an orb. It could also be triggered to self-destruct on impact. It could be operated remotely by someone on a computer anywhere and broadcast wetted nanotech/laser images, researched in Australia by FBI for at least 20 years, too scary looking to be approached by people who might see them. I've thought for some time there were two types of Sabe, biologicals and nanotech robots. Nanos are programmable bits of graphite-based atomic assemblies. The biologicals are humans forced by injection into devolution, an experiment from the WW2 days that began to breed in the wild and were never meant to. That's a wild one. Who knows? My theory of devolution is that genetic modification takes place within all species for survival, from revolving blank, or as scientists call it, junk DNA, which comprises 30% in most species. The reason for this is biblical. All living creatures are resurrected to the perfect form after death, but the perfect forms may not be able to survive Earth in her fallen state. Earth being a creature also destined for resurrection. DNA modification by injection to devolve human males can result in a Sabe though most die, I think. It's been my experience that biologicals can vocalize. The robots cannot. Was riding a bike one night after dark in Flagstaff, hell-bent, and ran smack into one under escort. Was knocked onto the pavement in a sprawl and couldn't move for a few moments. Fury rose in me as I lay there, as they were on the wrong side of the two-lane road. Fairfield Golf Course area, no lights, and he spoke out loud, "Are you all right?" Not the easier okay. Quite differentially, but no hand was offered to help me up. One more bit of food for thought. Universities brainwash all students to believe organized religions keep populations of people tame, so the socio-economic structure can continue to exist. Scientists are no exception to this brainwash, and this is their religion. Most lately believe that the more control is exerted, the more docile the populations will be. Break, always are killed. Jesus Christ was not Jewish and was not Catholic nor Muslim. He was here to establish the truth about God, who is our Father, the Creator. Cannot field test this, but I'm pretty sure a powerful flashlight directed into a mirror or other reflective surface, or the sun's reflection directed at the orbs, will render them inoperable. Columns that are reflective near water and quartz deposits and armed guards near caves should be set up. Reflections of light into caves is old tech, but good as ever. The biologicals are trying to tell us with their lingering humanity 333 over the horizon radar triangulation. Soon there will be too many break always to be covertly killed, and all hell is going to break out. All we have done and all we do is weaponize everything we can to kill each other. And this has been going on since Cain killed his brother Abel. This is not the right path. I'm writing because I've survived their attempt to kill me, with knowledge intact, though I am damaged and won't last as long as I would have if actual medical care had been used for healing instead of harming. I don't know how you do what you do. I don't know how you do what you do. Carry on, brother. Thank you. Happy trails. Jan. Is there Jan or Jan? P.S. Read or forward at your will, your call. Okay, that was a doozy. I got a little confused. I'll admit it confused me a bit there, but somebody's probably nodding their head in agreement or shaking their head and what the hell did I just read? There's without a doubt there's some crazy shit going on. There's without a doubt we've been lied to about everything. As you dig, as I dig. I'm digging up lots of truths, lots of testimonies, a lot of people with a far bigger brain than mine sharing shit with me that just makes me go, oh my God. And everything is just becoming absolutely mind-boggling and bizarre for me, what I'm learning. It's a crazy lifetime, you guys. It's a crazy lifetime. And especially if you have a mind that craves truth. It's a frustrating ride, man. It's a frustrating ride, and it eats a lot of time. Whenever I'm in service, I spend basically all my time with an earbud in listening to somebody as I'm busy doing whatever work I got to do. I'm nonstop trying to soak it up. And I've managed to kick aside mainstream news so well that it's just instant knee-jerk. I see any type of brand for a mainstream news outlet, business or place, and it just automatically delete or swipe past it, and it's gone out of my sight. And I don't go there for even a tenth of a second. And my knowledge base is really growing rapidly lately, and my confidence builds too, I think. Am I scared? No. Am I confused? A lot. Frustrated? A lot. Do I see through bullshit more now? Yeah, I see through bullshit a lot more clearly now than I had previously, that's for sure. And it's tough for me to bite my lip, obviously. And I know that going on rants is a waste of time for the most part, but somebody's got to say shit, right? Anyway, on that note, I'm going to get going. And for those of you who do enjoy it when people videotape walks in the forest, I will share my walk out of that big timber in the valley bottom up there, and you can I haven't heard it yet. I'll hear it when I get home and put it on the computer, and I'll put the headphones on and listen to it and see what that was. But it made me feel nervous, so I left, and I kept the camera running the whole walk out, except for maybe the last 20 yards. And I'll put that in a video all by itself, so you guys, the people that are into it, can pick away at it if you want or not. All right, but that's all the next video is going to be, is me walking through the woods and smelling something and seeing some ground disturbed, and pretty sure I've got a weird sound on there. The only shitty thing is the sound was between me and the vehicle direction where it came from, down the bottom of the valley in that thick shit. But whatever, it is what it is, right? What do I got now? I got to go home. I'm going to take the kids out, take them shooting. And then I'm going to carry on and get my shit done. Hopefully get a good night's sleep. And then I'm going to be up at probably 4 in the morning. And a friend of mine and I are going to head out to the Klanawa. If you want to Google that up. Carmana Klanawa area. And we're going to seek out huge Roosevelt elk and call them up and hopefully videotape them. And hopefully not run into anything else. Klanawa's got a lot of sightings. My First Nations friends in Banfield, almost everyone I've talked to has seen a Sasquatch or a Sabe out around the Klanawa and on the Sarita River too, where I steelhead fish. Definitely felt nervous there a bunch of times, but I insist on going fishing anyway. I just stare at the water and don't look up and struggle through it and make sure I enjoy my time no matter what. Anyway. That's a handful of emails there, wasn't it? Handful, I was mixed it up across the board with topics and experiences. They keep coming in. All you people that have been hesitating, there's no sense in hesitating now. Get it off your chest, get the knowledge shared. Get the knowledge shared. Get that truth out, all right? Don't keep truth in. Get the truth out. Have to get the truth out today. What else? The backup channel. Yeah, I guess with the backup channel, I'll just keep on putting the odd older video on there every once in a while. It's easy to do. And we'll keep that thing relevant and keep notifying everybody it's there for when I get this channel deleted. And I've had a lot of people email me in and say, oh, you can't post on any other channels anyway. Well, actually, yes, you can, because when I got thrown in jail for a week, I was way up north at the time, and I kept on posting on the How to Hunt channel the whole time. So yes, you can post on your backup channel when that channel's spanked. I don't know what happens after your third strike. Maybe they do delete the whole 9 yards, all of it, your whole account. I don't know, but you can post on a backup channel if your other channel is silenced for a time period, a timeout. All right? So there you go. Anyway, what's it called again? The Round Table of Knowledge by HTH. I'll put the link in either comment section below or whatever. I'll put the link in there for you guys to find if you haven't found it yet. And if you want to, hit it up so you can stay connected with the people through me or not. It's up to you. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to go home and can't wait to see how well I videotaped that huge bull elk. It was a monster. Exciting for me. I'll be back shortly. Heartbreak. I'm